What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK. Gonna talk about last night's game and how everybody in Mavs Nation completely overreacted to a Game 1 loss. I'm gonna talk about everything that transpired, the few things that I learned about the series as far as the Suns and the Mavs are concerned, and what I think we need to do in Game 2. Without further ado, let's get it started. All right, so first things first is Jalen Brunson's, let's say, inefficient Game 1, right? Immediately off the bat, people are going to point the finger at Jalen Brunson not being able to perform as well, whatever the case may be. I would say all of that's true. He did have a rough first game. He did get in foul trouble early on. And when Luka had to pick up the offense from that point on, he knew he didn't have Brunson out there. And he probably knows Dinwiddie is having, some issues. So he had to pick up the offense. And with doing so, he found some rhythm. And once he found that rhythm and Jalen Brunson came back in, it was a little too late for Jalen Brunson to get involved because Luka was taking over. He saw where the game was going, especially with the slow start that they had. And of course, Jalen Brunson just couldn't jump in there. And I think this next game is going to be extremely important for him as far as how he starts out, because I don't think the refs did us any favors, which I'll get into in a little bit, but the refs were very spotty at first and really messed up our rhythms, and that definitely affected Jalen Brunson early on. I think he's going to be fine. We've seen this happen in Game 1 against the Utah Jazz before, and now you're seeing a narrative that they're talking about the Jazz was a broken team and this and that. No, these things happen. It's the playoffs. You have a bad game. You bounce back. You learn your opponent, you make your adjustments. And I definitely do think Jalen Brunson will be able to accomplish that. So just give him some time. Not too much time, because Game 2, he needs to be very effective. You can't be giving Luka 4 points by the third quarter. Like, he's got to be more effective. He's got to be a lot smarter, too, on the defensive end as well. But that's partially what hurt us a lot. So one of the things that I saw early on in this game is our defense intensity was extremely not there, and we were not ready. We did not bring the intensity that we needed to deal with a Phoenix Suns title contender type team. Again, they just came out of a dogfight against New Orleans Pelicans, and they've had to pick up a certain level of intensity, and they've been there. They've been to a Western Conference Finals. They've been to an NBA Finals. They know the difference in intensity, and that's why they came out so hot, because they are a well-oiled machine. I mean, they got from positions 1 to 5. There's point guard all the way to center. They have a very solid team. Every single player on their team has playmaking capabilities. Solid team. And to come out and be a little flat, be a little lackadaisical defensively, it should be a wake-up call. And you'd rather get this out early than later, but definitely defense was one of the things that did us in this game yesterday. Although we ended up scoring 114, we didn't hold them under 100. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how much better this team could play defensively, whether the type of coverages you give Booker and Chris Paul. I know everyone was going crazy about how Ayton was going off. Again, I'd rather Ayton get triple the amount of shot attempts that he had and try to live with that. And you're probably going to have to start going a little more man-to-man, and you could get killed by Booker and Chris Paul, but I feel like you could do a kind of a late double, a late blitz to get the ball out of their hands, to throw it to Ayton, where you can match up 1v1. And hopefully it's a 1v1 on a big, but if it's 1v1 on, say, Dorian Finney-Smith or Luka, I'll just live with those chances, man. I just rather Ayton take a bunch of twos, and hopefully he's shooting at a 50%, 45% clip, which is probably nice, probably more 50 to 60%. But if we could get him on a night where he's shooting at 50% or anything 47, 48 from inside the paint like that with decent defense, for me, that's a recipe for success, rather than Booker and Mikal Bridges or Cameron Payne or Jay Crowder and Chris Paul just hitting threes all over us. I'd rather Ayton be the person that's going off. And they said he went off last night when he scored 25 points, very efficient. But I'm just like, okay, give me Ayton with 25 more shot attempts and take those attempts away from Booker and Chris Paul. And kind of like to the notion that, the Luka Ball hurts the rhythm of all the players, kind of doing the same thing here. You want Ayton to take all the shots to ruin the rhythm of all the other shooters. That's just my perspective, but the defense needs to pick it up. The defense needs to be a lot more active like they were in the fourth quarter, and that first quarter is really what did us in. They won the game in the first quarter. That's literally it. They came out and they showed us what defensive intensity is, and they showed us what NBA Finals intensity is. And the Mavs need to learn from that very, very experience right there and pick it up in game 2. All right, so in yesterday's game, there was a lot of overreaction. A lot of, oh, Luka Ball is a problem. Luka holding the ball and waiting for the last 5 seconds is the issue. So the question is right now that I'm going to pose y'all is Luka Doncic, Luka Ball a problem? And my answer to that question is no. Luka literally is the reason why we have a chance in this series. And to say, is Luka Ball a problem, reminiscent to the James Harden style of basketball? No, it's not. It's just when he does give up the ball or when anybody else has the ball, they have to be productive with it. And yesterday was glaringly obvious that we just had an off night as far as the rest of the team is concerned. So as far as Luka Ball is concerned, it is not a problem. Do not start doing that narrative, Mavs fans. You need to understand the scenario and the situation we have. We have a generational talent. We want to utilize that talent. I know Brunson could have had a few more possessions. I would have liked to have seen that a few more possessions because you could tell when Luka Doncic is a little gassed. We need to do better about that in those scenarios. But no, Luka Ball is not a problem. You have to stick with it at this point, unless you're gonna go away from your entire game plan. Maybe if you want to add a few more passes and move the ball a lot more, that'll definitely be helpful as far as getting the opposing team's defense a little more tired. But other than that, you don't get away from your game plan. You keep doing what has worked for you all season, and you just need to be more efficient and execute a lot better. That's it. Let's talk about Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie I feel like he's just been MIA. Game 6 against the Jazz, he was very effective. Games 1 and 2, we saw something from him against the Jazz. And he wasn't as efficient. He had a rough, free throw percentage in the first game, but he provided something, in those games. And then even in game 5, I believe he provided something. In game 6, he definitely provided something. Game 3 against the Jazz, he provided something. There's moments where Dinwiddie has shown up, but in this game, it was just more of game 4 Dinwiddie, I believe. And just the Dinwiddie that we're seeing now, it's not the Dinwiddie that we saw when we first traded for him. Don't know what it is. Don't know what I think we need to fix with him. I think getting our rotations in order as far as when he comes into the game or whatever the case may be. I'm starting to be of the belief that he should start. He should start along with Dorian Finney-Smith at the center position. I'll get into that later on, but I think if you want to maximize your 3 guards' potential, you definitely have to get them all to be in the game early on and going. And I think you could do that with having a 3-guard start for the first 5 minutes of the game, and then you go and sit either one of the two that are not having the best game, so to speak, out of Brunson and Spencer, because Luka plays the whole first quarter, and then you can gauge it from there. But you definitely need to figure out who's going to be there to support Luka and score with Luka early on. I don't think you can wait anymore. This is the playoffs. You cannot wait anymore. Just go ahead and start them. Like I said, I think you just need to go ahead and take the hits with, what's the name? DeAndre Ayton scoring. Like I said in the first video, I'd rather him throw up 50 to 60 shots and live with the results. So one thing I learned yesterday in the post-game interview with CP3 and I forgot who interviewed him from ESPN. Guy asked him a question about Luka and what kind of problems does he pose. And normally this is one of those things where they always ask a veteran player about the new and upcoming players of how they perform. It's always done in the playoffs, regular season. It's a way to promote the youth of the NBA, right? The youth of the players. And normally they never, especially vets like CP3 or Steph Curry or LeBron, they never shy away from that moment, especially when they win. When they win, they're always going to give the praise, right, to the team as far as, like, oh, they're competitors. And Luka, yeah, he's a big problem, this and that. But CP3, for some reason, decided not to even utter a word about Luka Doncic. He didn't even want to acknowledge him by name. Part of me thinks CP3 doesn't like Luka Doncic. He'd rather name Brunson, Theo Pinson, Reggie Bullock than even acknowledge Luka. I don't know what it is. But I feel some tension there. CP3 don't like Luka. And I wonder if they're going to come to some little argument. They're going to get into each other's face. I see Booker and Luka definitely getting in each other's face sometime in this series. But CP3, I want to see him pull some stuff off against Luka where he pisses Luka off and see what happens. Because Luka gave them the business yesterday. And yes, it's probably their game plan that they wanted Luka to do that. But Luka, for all the slander y'all might want to give him, he gave them that work. Didn't matter what it was. From 3, from mid-range, from the post, from from longer distance. Didn't matter. Guy got the rebounds, got 45 points in the game, and they got it within 5 points they got it within 2 possessions with almost 20 seconds left. And again, you ever seen a Tracy McGrady game? Anything can happen. They fought back, but again, there's no more victories in the playoffs. But one thing I took from it, CP3 don't like Luka Doncic. All right, besides all the things that transpired in yesterday's game, I do think part of the reason why we got down so early is that the fact that the refs were very, how would I put it, very inconsistent with their calls. They were quick. I'm talking about quick with the whistle anytime the Suns got a little bump on them when the Mavs were defending them. But damn, let Luka run into the paint, fall on his ass, get hit by every single body, and he will not get a call. It was annoying early on because it wasn't being called consistently. There would be calls for the Suns that just had you scratching your head like, bro, he barely touched him. And Luka will come back on the other end, get beat by 3 people, slaps to the hands and everything, and they wouldn't call it. In the second half, it was a way more balanced game as far as the officiating was concerned. But early on in the game, the officiating was so bad for the Mavericks as far as everything that happened. That contributed to the off rhythm of the Mavericks offense and basically leading to Jalen Brunson being removed from the game early on because of foul trouble. Same thing with Reggie Bullock, dude got fouled out. And I get it. The Suns are the most penalized team where they commit the most fouls in the entire league, and it wasn't very evident of that yesterday. And so, not to make it about the officials, but the officials early on in the game played a big ass role in throwing the Mavs rhythm offbeat and allowing the Suns to just maintain their rhythm. Every time they went to the hole, foul. Anytime there was a rebound, foul. Anytime there was any kind of resistance from the Mavericks, foul. You look at them, Luka driving to the lane multiple times, falling on his ass because he got hit, no calls. This shit was crazy to me. But next game, hopefully they learn from it. Hopefully they just learn something from it, and they're more aggressive and they drive to the paint a lot more, and hopefully they can start getting some calls. But again, like they always say, the aggressor wins the calls. So Mavericks need to be more aggressive to get the benefit of those calls so we could then throw the Suns off rhythm and have ourselves a little game. All right, so one of the things that you saw in the fourth quarter was they picked up the pace and they were able to execute with that pace to get them back in the game, which a lot of people will say that at that point it was pretty much over. It was a done deal. The Suns took the foot off the gas pedal. Now, pace can kill or improve your execution. It could literally be what does us in if we want to pick up the pace and have our pace go at the same pace with the Suns. We're falling right into their game plan if we try to pick up our pace. And I know seeing that fourth quarter rally might make you want to do that, but for me, I think we need to not fall prey to that. Do not fall into the pace game with the Suns. That is their game plan. That is not our game. We have the slowest pace in the NBA for a reason. Picking up our pace to match theirs will not end well for us. So I know Mavs fans may have overreacted because we definitely overreacted last night. Do not fall for the trap of wanting more pace. And I hope Kid and the organization, all the coaching staff does not fall for the pace issue as well, because that's not our style of basketball. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. All right, so the next thing is you have to have better picks against Micah Bridges. When you saw Kleber doing his picks against Bridges, or anybody else for that matter, I think, who was it? Was it Dorian Finney-Smith or Powell? No, actually Kleber was the one that had the better picks against him. I'm not sure. Is he Kleber or Powell? Anyway, whoever was setting the picks against Bridges was not setting it properly to where they allowed him to just kind of get around him and stay on Luka. The thing about a pick is you want to negate the momentum of that defender. And whenever you are not stopping him or slowing him down and you're allowing him to stick with the defender, it literally makes that pick and roll ineffective. So from a strategic perspective, you have to improve your pick and roll game. And especially when you're setting picks on Bridges, especially Bridges because he's one of the best defenders in the league, you have to set that pick efficiently and effectively and hold him. Not hold him, but like you have to pick him to where he can't go anywhere. I think Bullock or Spencer hit a good one on him. You have to pick him, and you have to be able to slow him down from being on top of Luka Doncic. I'm just saying Luka had 45 points, 8 assists, 12 rebounds. It's not as if he will slow down, but he does affect the overall game plan. And you need to definitely set a hard pick on him to make Luka's game even easier to run. You need to allow Luka to be able to flow with this offense and do what he needs to do. If you're not allowing him to have that breather room, it's going to make it a lot harder for this team to keep going. And I think you need to set stronger picks on Bridges. That's going to be a key to the game that I'm going to be watching in this next game. So y'all were you as well. I definitely look out for that as well. All right, so game 2 strategy. What would I do if I were the Dallas Mavericks in game 2? I think I alluded to it earlier with the Spencer Dinwiddie. I will start Dinwiddie just so he could be part of the game and get the feel for it. Start Dorian at the 5, or I wouldn't even go much more bigger than that. I wouldn't want to put like Dwight Powell at the 5 and Brunson and Dorian at the 4. I could see it, but not really. You're gonna have to sacrifice rebounding. We've been sacrificing rebounding all series long. It's gonna have to be a gang rebound mentality. It's gonna have to team rebound mentality type of starting lineup. I would just start Dorian at the 5. Luka will be your 4. Bullock your 3. Spencer your 2, and Brunson your 1. You have to start your guards just so they could get a feel for the game, and definitely run the same offense with Luka. But when you set them picks, you got to make sure you set them picks really strong on Bridges. Pick up the intensity on defense. That's another thing. I think with the way Booker and Chris Paul played yesterday, they played well. They were efficient. The thing is, I want Ayton to shoot more shots. I don't want Paul or Booker to get all the good shots. And if you have to do that, you probably have to go man on man. And if you have to go man on man and not double Paul and not double Booker to see if they could throw the ball down to Ayton, go ahead and risk it. Risk it for the biscuit, right? You want to throw so many things at them and see how they respond to everything. And you want to do it early on in these 2 games. That way you can have all your adjustments ready for game 3 and 4 here at home. But tomorrow, that's what I would do. I would throw out there a small ball lineup from the start, not to increase the pace, but just to allow our guards to be in motion. And then from there, you'll be able to judge who you keep in, who you sit halfway through the first. If Brunson got it going, go ahead and sit Dinwiddie. If Dinwiddie got it going, go ahead and sit Brunson, because Luka's going to play the whole first. That would be my strategy. Then halfway through the first, and you have your regular starting lineup, just so at that point you know who's ready to go. You got to figure it out early. You can't get down by a lot early on in the game. And you got to make sure your defensive keys are there, your defensive principles. They didn't defend well. 121 points is not acceptable for the Mavericks if they want to win these games, especially when Luka's giving you 45 points on top of that. So that's my game plan for tomorrow. Again, this is like a boxing match. Everyone's getting a feel for each other. And especially tomorrow, not to call it an overreaction, but Dwight Powell is probably not going to be a series, unfortunately, like I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a series where it would have been a little bit more effective. Very ineffective yesterday. So I think at this point, you need to go ahead and you got to do everything possible. This is the #1 team in the league for a reason. And unless you want your season to end and you want to keep doing the same thing over and over, it ain't going to work. Not against this team. You have to try something different. And I think you need to start it with seeing which guard is going to bring it for that game. All right, guys, so that's been my overview of this upcoming game and what happened last night. And again, for all the Mavs fans out there, do not overreact. Let's act like we've been there before. Let's act like the franchise that actually has a title in their actual franchise. Game 1s are game 1s for a reason. Again, like they say, the series doesn't start until the away team wins a home game. And the series is not started right now. It's like round 1 to 2, round 3 of a boxing match. Right now, they're getting a feel for each other. And you were able to see certain things. Let's see what adjustments Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks can make. And let's see what a good Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie game gives us. Let's see what better pick and rolls on Bridges gives us. And with defense, let's see what a more improved defense gives us from the start of the game, not at the end of the game. So with that being said, guys, go ahead and sound off in the comments below. Shout out to all the Suns fans that have been giving me crap. Again, it's a long series. Don't get too confident. Don't get too ahead of yourselves. I've been there before. As Mavs fans, we were up 2-0 on the Heat, and we lost. The Suns been there before, where they were up 2-0 on the Bucks, and they lost. Again, pace yourselves, young grasshoppers. Anyway, guys, been your boy TGK, and catch y'all on the next one.